Good morning students. In this lecture 33rd of quantum mechanics, we will discuss harmonic oscillator problem, and now we will discuss this harmonic oscillator problem from classical point of view, then from quantum point of view. So now first we know that in harmonic oscillator, suppose we have any particle of mass m and we are displacing this particle from its mean position. Suppose this is the mean position of the particle, and suppose we are displacing this particle from its mean position by a distance x. Then restoring force will be developed in this particle and it will restore its position with the help of that restoring force. And we are displacing this particle in this direction, and restoring force will develop in this particle and which will try to move the particle in this direction. So restoring force developed, it is directly proportional to the displacement. More will be the displacement, more will be the restoring force, but the direction of restoring force and the displacement is opposite. So that's why we are taking negative sign. So here we have force is equal to minus kx, where k is the proportionality constant and also known as force constant. So this is according to Hooke's law. So we have a particle which is of mass m, which is exhibiting simple harmonic motion, and force, restoring force developed is equal to minus kx. So now what will be the potential energy? We know that the relation between restoring force and the potential energy, it is restoring force is negative gradient of potential energy. So we will have dV is equal to minus f dx. So what will be the total potential energy? This is the potential energy on displacing the particle by distance dx. So what will be the potential energy stored in the system when the displacement is x? So integrate both sides, and after integration we will get integration of dV is equal to v minus integration of f dx. Put f is equal to minus kx here, and you will get potential energy of the particle is half kx square. So the potential energy of the particle which is exhibiting simple harmonic motion, it is equal to half kx square. It means the potential energy curve will be parabolic in nature because it is proportional to x square. Now we will discuss its classical point of view. According to classical view, if the particle of mass m is exhibiting simple harmonic motion, then its force is equal to mass into acceleration according to Newton's second law of motion. So it will be m into d square x by dt square. But according to restoring force, according to Hooke's law, force is equal to minus kx. So we have force is equal to minus kx. This implies minus kx is equal to m d square x by dt square. Move this to this side and you will get m d square x by dt square plus kx, it is equal to 0. So we have d square x by dt square plus k by m x, it is equal to 0, and this is the second order differential equation of simple harmonic motion, where this k by m, it is equal to square of the, where this k by m, it is equal to the square of the frequency with which the oscillator is oscillating. So angular frequency of the oscillator will be root k by m. And what will be the solution of the differential equation of motion? Solution of differential equation of motion of a particle which is exhibiting simple harmonic motion, it is given by x. Cosine and sine functions are simple harmonic functions. So x will be, suppose A is the amplitude, cos omega t plus phi. So how it will be the motion? The motion will be like this. Suppose this is the energy. We are plotting energy versus displacement from the mean position graph. And this is the mean position. So we are plotting potential energy versus this graph, displacement graph. This is mean position. At the mean position, potential energy is 0. How? Because potential energy V, it is equal to half kx square. At mean position, what is the displacement from mean position? X is 0, which implies V will be 0. So at x is equal to 0, that is at the mean position, potential energy is 0. And at the extreme position, what will be the displacement? Displacement will be maximum, that is equal to its amplitude. It can be plus a or it can be minus a on either side of the mean position. Suppose on this side we have plus a and on this side we have minus a. Put this value. Potential energy will be maximum at the extreme position. So at the extreme position, we know that kinetic energy is 0 and potential energy is equal to total energy. So this will be the value. And as V is proportional to x square, so its graph will be parabolic in nature. So this is the potential energy versus displacement from the mean position graph. So now in between this mean position and extreme position, this particle, it can exhibit any value of energy. It can have any value of potential energy and it can have any value of total energy. So according to classical point of view, classically, a particle which is exhibiting simple harmonic motion can have any value of energy from mean position to extreme position. Now we will discuss quantum mechanical point of view. Now as we have derived the expression for the potential energy of a particle which exhibits simple harmonic motion, and that is equal to half kx square. It means V is independent of t because it is equal to half kx square. So we will use time independent Schrödinger wave equation. So according to time independent Schrödinger wave equation in one dimension. Why? Because V depends upon x only. So we will use one dimensional Schrödinger wave equation. So one dimensional Schrödinger wave equation is d square psi by dx square plus 2m by h cut square e minus v psi, it is equal to 0. Put v is equal to half kx square. So d square psi by dx square plus 2m by h cut square e minus half kx square psi, it is equal to 0. So now open this bracket, d square psi by dx square plus 2me by h cut square minus 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. So we have mk upon h cut square x square psi is equal to 0. And we have derived one value, that is omega is equal to root k by m. So because omega is root k by m, it implies k will be equal to m omega square. Put this value of k here, then you will get d square psi by dx square plus 2me by h cut square minus m square omega square x square by h cut square psi, it is equal to 0. Now suppose this is your equation number 1, and now put 2me by h cut square, suppose it is equal to alpha, and m omega by h cut, suppose it is equal to beta, and put both these values here in equation 1, you will get, and suppose this as equation 2, d square psi by dx square plus alpha minus beta square x square psi, it is equal to 0. So we have this new differential equation in quantum mechanical view. So suppose this is equation 3rd. Now further suppose that this root beta x, it is equal to some new variable, that is q. Here q is the new variable. So we have q is equal to root beta x. So we have to find the value of psi and d square psi by dx square. So first find d psi by dx. What will be d psi by dx? Multiply and divide by dq. So it will be d psi by dq into dq by dx. So what is dq by dx? Differentiate this with respect to x, it will be root beta. So we have root beta d psi by dq. So d psi by dx is equal to root beta d psi by dq. Now we need the value of double derivative of psi with respect to x. So we have d square psi by dx square. It will be d by dx of d psi by dx, which is root beta d by dx of d psi by dq. Again write it as d by dq into dq by dx. So which implies d square psi by dx square, it will be root beta d by dq d psi by dq into dq by dx. Now put this value again, that is root beta into d psi by dq. It is equal to root beta. So d square psi by dx square, it is equal to root beta, again root beta, d square psi by dq square. This root beta and root beta will be beta, d square psi by dq square. So now put this value, in equation number 3rd. Put this value in equation 3rd, and we have, instead of d square psi by dx square, we have beta d square psi by dq square plus alpha minus, we have beta square x square. And what will be the value of x square? It will be q square upon beta. Psi, it is equal to 0. 1 beta will be cancelled out. Now divide this whole equation by beta, and we have d square psi by dq square plus alpha by beta, this beta and beta will be cancelled out, so we have q square psi is equal to 0. Now if the displacement from the mean position is very large, if the value of x is large, then x is proportional to q, it means q will be large. And now we will solve this differential equation. This is again a second order differential equation which will give us the value of psi in terms of q. And now we will solve this differential equation for large value of q. For large value of q means if q will be large, then x will be large. What is x? It is the displacement from the mean position. So for large value of q, q square will be large. So this q square, it will be larger than this alpha by beta. So we can ignore this alpha by beta. So we will have this equation d square psi by dq square minus q square psi, it is equal to 0. And write the auxiliary equation and calculate the solution for this differential equation in this way. Here we will have d square minus q square will be 0. D will be equal to plus minus q. So its solution will be and suppose the solution of above equation is of the form psi is equal to e raised to power plus minus q square by 2. Now suppose this is the solution of this equation, and in the next video we will solve the solution of this equation, because this is the exact solution. What will be the general form of solution? It will be psi is equal to hq e raised to power plus minus q square by 2. Now out of these two solutions, we know that as the displacement from the mean position will increase, x will increase. With the increase in x, q will increase. But if you take psi is equal to e raised to power plus q square by 2, when x approaches to infinity, then q will approach to infinity, and e raised to power plus infinity will be psi approaches to infinity. So the wave function will not be acceptable corresponding to e raised to power plus q square by 2. So e raised to power plus q square by 2 value is not acceptable. So only e raised to power minus q square by 2 is acceptable. Why? Because when x approaches to infinity, q will approach to infinity, and psi will be equal to e raised to power minus infinity, which is 0. So at infinity, we know that the value of wave function is 0, because the probability of finding the particle at infinity is almost 0. So in the next video, we will solve this equation that psi is equal to hq e raised to power minus q square by 2. By solving this equation, we will calculate the energy of the simple harmonic oscillator from the quantum mechanical point of view. So the solution of this differential equation we have supposed is equal to psi is equal to hq is the Hermite polynomial in terms of q, e raised to power minus q square by 2. Now what we will do, we have psi in terms of hq, we will put this value here, and we will calculate this d square psi by dq square in terms of h. So we have psi, find d psi by dq, then d square psi by dq square in terms of q. So psi is equal to hq e raised to power minus q square by 2. Then what will be d psi by dq? It will be equal to, first suppose hq as constant, then we will have e raised to power minus q square by 2 into minus 2q So this 1 by 2 at that time is constant, and this 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. So next we will have plus e raised to power minus q square by 2 is constant. At that time we have dh by dq. So d psi by dq will be minus q e raised to power minus q square by 2 h plus e raised to power minus q square by 2 dh by dq. So this is the value of d psi by dq in terms of dh by dq. Now we will calculate double derivative of psi with respect to q. It will be differentiation of q with respect to q will be 1. So we have minus e minus q square by 2h, then plus minus q is constant, then differentiation of this, it will be e raised to power minus q square by 2 into minus 2q by 2, at that time h constant, then minus q e square by 2, at that time differentiation of h will be dh by dq. Now move to this term, e raised to power minus q square by 2 minus 2q by 2, at that time dh by dq constant, and second time we will have plus e raised to power minus q square by 2 constant. At that time we will have d square h by dq square. So this 2 and 2 cancelled, 2 and 2 cancelled. So we have d square psi by dq square. It is equal to this q and q will be q square, minus and minus will be plus. So we have q square e raised to power minus q square by 2h, then minus q e raised to power minus q square by 2 dh by dq, then this minus q e raised to power minus q square by 2 dh by dq, then this term plus e raised to power minus q square by 2 d square h by dq square. So 1 2 3 4, and we have total of 1 2 3 4 5 terms. So one term left is this minus e raised to power minus q square by 2 h. So now from all these terms e raised to power minus q square by 2 is common. So we have d square psi by dq square. It is equal to e raised to power minus q square by 2 is common. So inside the bracket we will have d square h by dq square. Then this and this will be added. It will be minus 2q dh by dq. And here we will have q square minus 1. So plus q square minus 1h. So this will be the equation. So now put this value of d square psi by dq square in terms of dh by dq in this equation. Put the value of psi in terms of h and put the value of d square psi by dq square in terms of dh by dq in this equation. So we have put the value of d square psi by dq square. It is d square h by dq square minus 2q dh by dq plus q square minus 1h e raised to power minus q square by 2, then plus alpha by beta minus q square e raised to power minus q square by 2h, it is equal to 0. So now solve this equation. And how we can solve this equation? Instead of alpha minus q square, we have alpha by beta minus q square. Why? Because this is the solution of this differential equation. Then the solution of this differential equation will be this. The approximate solution of this differential equation will be this. So indirectly, by solving this equation, we are deriving the solution of this differential equation. So that's why we have put down the values of psi and d square psi by dq square in this equation in terms of dh by dq. Now this e raised to power minus q square by 2, it is common, and when you will take this term to this side, 0 divided by this will be 0. So we have d square h by dq square minus 2q dh by dq plus q square h minus h plus alpha by beta h minus q square h, it is equal to 0, and this will be cancelled out. So we have this d square h by dq square minus 2q dh by dq plus alpha by beta minus 1 h, it is equal to 0. And suppose this equation as A, and now we have to find the solution of this equation. And here where this h is the Hermite polynomial, and this h, it depends upon q. So this hq, it will be the Hermite polynomial in q. This implies this hq, it will be equal to a0 plus a1q plus a2q square and so on up to anqn. This implies HQ will be summation n varies from 0 to infinity ANQN. And now to find the solution of this equation A, we have value of HQ is equal to this. Then find DH by DQ. What will be DH by DQ? DH by DQ will be summation n varies from 1 to infinity an. Differentiation of q raised to power n will be n q raised to power n minus 1. So it is summation n varies from 1 to infinity n an q raised to power n minus 1. And here we have 2q dh by dq. So multiply this equation on both sides by 2q. Then we will have 2q dh by dq, it is equal to summation n varies from, here we will have 2n an q raised to power n minus 1 into q, it will be q raised to power n. So here we will have n varies from 0 to infinity. So now we have the value of this second term. This is equation B and this is equation C. And now we have to find the value of double derivative of Hermite polynomial with respect to Q. So for that, differentiate this equation. dH by dq is equal to this. Differentiate this equation. And you will get d square h by dq square. As dH by dq, it is equal to summation n varies from 1 to infinity n an q raised to power n minus 1. Now differentiate it. It will be d square h by dq square. It is equal to summation n will vary from 2 to infinity. We have n an n minus 1 q raised to power n minus 2. But we want here n varies from 0 to infinity. So what we will do? We will replace by n to n plus 2. So replace n by n plus 2. Then you will have d square h by dq square. It is equal to summation n varies from 0 to infinity n plus 2. Here n plus 2 minus 1, we will have n plus 1, a n plus 2, q raised to power n plus 2 minus 2, so it will be n. So this is the value of double derivative of h with respect to q, and suppose this is equation D. And now put equation B, equation C and equation D in equation A, and you will get summation n varies from 0 to infinity, n plus 2, n plus 1, a n plus 2, q raised to power n. Then minus summation n varies from 0 to infinity, 2 n a n q raised to power n. Then we have plus alpha by beta minus 1 summation n varies from 0 to infinity, a n q n, and this is equal to 0. So here we have summation n varies from 0 to infinity common, and we have q raised to power n is common, it is equal to 0, and inside the bracket we have n plus 2, n plus 1, a n plus 2 minus 2n a n plus alpha by beta minus 1 into a n. Now the summation of this will be 0 if and only if the coefficient of q raised to power n is 0. This equation will be satisfied if and only if the coefficient of q raised to power n, that is this, is equal to 0. And this implies, now we will find the value of a n plus 2. For this, move these two terms on the other side. It will be 2n. Here it is negative, on the other side it will be positive, and this will be negative. A n is common, and then move these two terms on this side, and you will get a n plus 2, it is equal to 2n. This minus and minus will be plus, so we have 2n plus 1 minus alpha by beta into a n divided by n plus 2, n plus 1. So this is the recurrence relation of a n plus 2 in terms of a n. But we have already supposed the Hermite polynomial HQ, it is equal to summation n varies from 0 to infinity a n q raised to power n. It means it is the polynomial of order n. So the coefficients a n plus 2, a n plus 4, after a n, all the coefficients a n plus 2, a n plus 4, a n plus 6, a n plus 8, they will vanish. So therefore this a n plus 2, it is equal to 0. And when you will put this a n plus 2 equal to 0, you will find the value of as a n plus 2, only the coefficients up to a n are non-zero, because the polynomial HQ, it is of the order n. So a n plus 2, a n plus 4, a n plus 6 all will be 0. So put this a n plus 2 equal to 0 and you will get 2n plus 1 minus alpha by beta. This denominator into 0 will be 0. This into a n is equal to 0, and this a n is non-zero. So this equation will be 0, but a n is non-zero. This implies this equation is 0 if and only if this is equal to 0. And this implies 2n plus 1, it is equal to alpha by beta. And what is alpha and beta? Put the values of alpha and beta. So 2n plus 1, it is equal to alpha is 2me upon h cut square divided by beta is m omega by h cut. So h cut and h cut will be cancelled out, m and m will be cancelled out. So if you take 2 common from here, you will have n plus half. It is equal to 2 e upon h cut omega. 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. So energy of simple harmonic oscillator comes out to be n plus half h cut omega. So corresponding to n is equal to 0, the minimum energy of the oscillator, it is not 0, it is half h cut omega, which is known as 0 point energy of the oscillator. And from here, it is concluded that energy of the simple harmonic oscillator is quantized. So classically, the oscillator can have any value of energy starting from 0 to any positive value, but quantum mechanically, the minimum value of energy of the simple harmonic oscillator is non-zero, and that is equal to half h cut omega, and which is known as 0 point energy. And the energy is not continuous, it is quantized in nature, and all the energy levels, they are equally spaced. The difference between various energy levels, that is same. So this is the quantum mechanical point of view. So this is all about simple harmonic oscillator problem, classically and quantum mechanically.